That's kind of cool. I'm looking forward to that. On there. All right. Will you say hello for a second?
Hello.
Good. I got you. Let's get me. Jay, what's your last name?
Nelson.
Got it. This mic is going to the YouTube Live.
Okay.
So that's kind of our third mic here. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let me turn on the input a little bit more here. Turn it up. All right, this is Jeremy Goodrich. I'm the owner of Shine Insurance and your host for the Shine Insurance YouTube channel. Today, I'm sitting here with Jay Nelson from RCV Roofing. He's been kind enough to come into our office and talk with us for a little bit about roofs, about business ownership, about insurance, maybe even a little bit, and just kind of talk through it and see how things go. So, Jay,
Sure.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Thanks.
Cool. So, tell us a little bit about how you started RCV Roofing.
I was always got a sales background, so I've always been in some kind of sales, if you will. I was actually doing door-to-door for a cable company at one time, and then that didn't go so hot, so I actually found another job selling roofs door-to-door.
Like being the person who's going door-to-door and talking about
Door-to-door roofing salesman.
Yeah. Yeah, cool.
A storm chaser.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So I worked with the company, and that was my job, was to go door to door, and they would send me around the country to go to areas that were affected by hail, crazy storm damage, go knock on doors and try to drum up business.
Okay.
I didn't like the way they were doing business at all. So I started, taking notes of what good things, what bad things, but just how they treated insurance companies to homeowners, just did the whole process kind of in and out, didn't really care.
Right.
It was just about the money.
Yeah.
So I decided to start my own, and had a business partner that I ventured in with this, and we started RCV together a little less than 5 years ago.
Cool.
And I think we got a little lucky too, because this town, there's plenty of work in this town. But we got a little bit lucky too, but we itemize it. I was kind of digital kind of background too with that. I went to school for graphic design. So I took that aspect in my sales, and I made it kind of what I saw of the faults were with the old company I was with. And I think this town really kind of needed something like that. And now we're the largest residential roofing in the region. So we stay pretty busy. And I just bought out my business partner, so that was a whole other great thing to it. So, that's a lot of work, but a lot of hard work pays off. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so, I mean, what's the difference between, you just talked about two different kinds of roofing,
Sure.
Companies. One is sort of like a follow the storm type of roof company, and the other is what you guys do, which is you're here in Bloomington and the surrounding area, and you exist in that local space. What are the differences between those two types of roof companies?
I think it really comes down to almost morals. And I think there's more or less 3 different kinds of roofers or construction companies, or at least residential wise. There's those storm chasers that'll go anywhere, wherever an opportunity arises. There's the ones that just stay low key, do a job whenever they really want to do a job, just to stay somewhat busy. Totally cool. And then there's kind of ones like us that actually care, want to do the best job local, and aren't really wanting to grow something, and it's not about, business is business. We have to make money, but it's not all about the money here.
So it sounds like you are an entrepreneur, and that the goal is to grow your business, and that's a little bit different than some roofers who are just kind of going job to job and doing that. But you're also not just about the money. It's about like taking good care of people, about knowing that you're in the same town as the roof that you did 2 months ago. And if you didn't do a great job, you're going to hear about it, right?
Absolutely. And, some of these smaller towns like Bloomington, your word will travel fast, very fast.
Absolutely.
And keeping that good reputation is probably one of the hardest things to do, of just making sure that, okay, we're going to treat this customer just like the last customer. And you keep on doing that. And it's hard because every roof, it's a roof, but everyone is different. And you have to pay attention to that. And every customer is different. You have to pay attention to that, because it can go pretty south real quick.
Yeah. So taking good care of somebody's roof is a huge deal. Also, like insurance, I would say in some ways, like these are important parts of people's lives.
Absolutely.
And if it's not done right, then it affects their life negatively.
And when you're talking about homeowners insurance, I mean, that's big. And most of people's biggest investment is their home.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to take care of that. Us as contractors, you guys covering it as insurance agents,
Mm-hmm.
like it's crucial.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. So the name of your business is RCV Roofing.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people don't know what RCV means. Can you shed some light on that for us?
It's an insurance acronym, actually, replacement cost value. So, it kind of doesn't make sense like that. But when we first started, we thought, we're just how I was before, is just storm chasing. We thought we were just going to get so much, storm damage claims.
Mm-hmm.
And it was complete opposite. We actually do about 85% cash jobs. But then we didn't think that because we don't do door knocking and stuff like that. So it changed for us. So replacement cost value, it's for your homeowner's policy. You either have a ACV or an RCV policy, actual cash value or replacement cost value. So we just went with the better of the two and replacement cost value.
Yeah. So the name in some ways says we understand insurance. We're going to help you with that claim scenario. We're going to make sure you get what you should out of the insurance company and out of the process.
Sure.
And that's where that name comes from.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We've seen a lot where adjusters or insurance agents pick up on it right away and some don't. And that kind of scares me when I didn't see that, you know what I mean? But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. So talk a little bit before we dig into we're talking about roofs and insurance and all that kind of stuff. Talk a little bit about what the most exciting moment has been so far for your business.
I think the most exciting part was becoming a platinum contractor with Owens Corning. Every shingle company has you're the best one that we have kind of a label, right? Now, if it's from GAF, Tamco, these other ones, they do the other thing, but most of them are, just pay us an X amount of dollars, pay us $5,000 and you could put your label on it. Now, Owens Corning is different. Yeah, it's a kind of a subscription thing where you have to do that. They do a big background check. I had to do a big interview process with that. There could be on another shingle line, they could say, we can have 15 of these master shinglers in this town, but Owens Corning is completely different. So they did that background check on me. They wanted to make sure how I operate my business is the way they want their product represented and installed by that contractor. I'm the only one in Southern Indiana. They don't have any plans of adding any additional, and it's not that somebody else can just buy into it and become that, because they actually limit that. There's about 450 in the United States. And it was really exciting to become one of those.
That's cool. So essentially what that shingle company is saying is, hey, these are some of the best, this is one of the best companies that we work with, and we're proud to work with you as the installer. And obviously you're proud to work with them for their quality product and that kind of thing.
The Owens Corning states that we represent the top 1% of roofing contractors in the U.S. as a platinum contractor. So it means a lot to us.
Cool. All right, the other side, what was the scariest moment so far in your business?
Scariest part would probably be putting on that first roof. First roof.
Tell us the story.
You're, like I said, you're dealing with somebody's biggest investment in their home, and you're about to rip off some of their home and install something new.
Right.
And especially something that relates to keeping it watertight. It's a little scary. Dealing with a crew that you haven't dealt with before, or even, you've just started that relationship, but you're about to see it all come together. You have to get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
At times we all do, especially entrepreneurs, things like that. You got to take that leap and bound, get really, act like you know what you're doing when you might not.
Yeah, fake it till you make it a little bit. Not that you didn't know, because obviously you had worked in the industry before.
Sure.
You were perfectly capable of doing it, but it's still,
when I'm backing it now, it's totally different.
Absolutely. It's scary.
Yeah.
And I think it is a little bit of fake it till you make it, even though you really didn't know what you were doing. It was just scary.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, we're going to take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the tension between insurance agents and roofers that happens, why that happens, and whether it makes sense.
Sounds good.
Okay, that was just a break. It's not going to break on there.
Sure. That's pretty cool though.
All right, cool. So historically, insurance companies and insurance agents and roofers have not always gotten along. And I think a lot of that has to do with just not understanding each other. But let's start a little bit with some scary insurance company stories maybe you've experienced. What are some of the problematic insurance scenarios you've seen?
I've seen some where homeowners waited too long to replace their roof when it was more of a age thing, not a storm damage related, but then their insurance company does like an audit or an inspection, and they fear to drop them, or they've already dropped them because there are certain aspects of the houses needs to be fixed. You can't insure some of things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of that's been scary. Some of just what certain insurance agents or certain insurance adjusters rather have done, where I've seen it where adjusters don't even get on the roofs or don't inspect for that. To tell you the truth, it's all across the board, from insurance agents to insurance companies to insurance adjusters. It's roll the dice and see, hopefully you picked a good one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So there's not really like
No.
certain companies that when you hear about them, you're like, oh man, this is.
There is. There is.
I'm not asking you to say names or anything like that.
Yeah.
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 So you definitely get a sense from company to company how they're going to take care of the situation.
Sure.
But yeah.
Do your research. Is a big thing. Go online, just with anything that you do these days. And internet, it's a wonderful place now. You know, it could be not so great and stress you out sometimes, but it's also a great resource, and use that. See what other people have experienced as well, or call a roofing company and ask them about that, and that might help you.
I think that's a great, I think when someone calls me with an insurance claim, specifically about their roof, I think I may have some roof damage. I'm not really sure what I should do next. A lot of different insurance agents handle that in different ways. The way I handle it, and I'd be interested in what you think about it, is I tend to have them call you, because I know that you are a reputable local roofer who's going to be honest with them and isn't going to try and just take their money. If they don't have damage to their roof, you're going to be honest about that so that they clearly know that. And so, in my opinion, by sending them to you first to get some professional feedback on what's really going on, in some ways I've made sure that my client is clear that I want to take good care of them from the start, and I want a professional to look at it. And then if there's clearly damage, let's make a claim and let's start the process.
That's 110% the right way to do it.
Okay.
I wish more companies were like that and more agents were like that. And another sad part about it, though, is not all roofers are like us.
Well, and that's the problem, is if I can't trust the roofer, then I'm in a different position than if I can.
And a lot of these roofers really need to understand, especially if they're a local. Storm chasers are different because they just don't care. Right?
Yeah.
But I care. I live in this community. I'm big for local, buy local, spend local. My name is attached to a lot, and I need to make sure I represent that well. And I like to sleep good at night.
Me too.
And I'm going to see a lot of my customers in the grocery stores, and I don't want the little, darn you. I want the, hey, Jay, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it's not only ours, but it's these insurance agents. We see these agents and we see these insurance adjusters so frequently.
Right.
And that's a reputation that we need to uphold as a roofer, because I don't want to send somebody out when, oh yeah, there's storm damage on this, and the adjuster gets up there and there's not, and that's just completely wrong.
And now you've put the person who owns the house in the
In a
position.
weird,
One
awkward.
person's told them one thing, their insurance company's told them another thing, and it's real awkward for them.
Yep.
Yeah.
So from the get-go, it just needs to be honest. And then also there's morality too. I mean, I've seen roofing contractors where they make their own hail hits and they scrape their own marks and they do things wrong. It's just, you can't ever get rid of that, though. It's sad. People need to have some good morals and just do the right thing. But I think that's where we come up, is we have a very good reputation with the insurance companies, and a very good reputation, and something strong in this community. And being honest, I might not get that job. That's fine. Storm does come, I'll get that job.
Oh yeah.
Or when the age of the roof and it's time to be replaced, I'll probably get that job, because I've told somebody, listen, unfortunately, you don't have any hail damage. You got about 5 years left. That 5 years comes up, maybe it's time, or there's a hailstorm that hits next year. They're going to call us because we're we're honest about it.
Mm.
It's just doing things the right way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Mackenzie and I, before we started Shine in 2013, we replaced our roof. It was $9,000, and it was because our roof was old.
Yeah.
And we had to, and there was a part of us. I mean, we're insurance agents. Like, if we wanted to manipulate the system, we know how to. And,
Sure.
and it just didn't make any sense. There's not damage, and it's not a situation. Sometimes you have to replace your roof, and that's what it is.
I mean, these policies aren't maintenance policies.
Right.
It's just like I try to explain to customers about this because insurance can be confusing, and it is confusing. It's from the deductibles to this and that, multiple different things, but it's not a maintenance policy. You have it on your car. They don't replace it when it gets old. Right. When you smash it or something bad happens, that's when they're coming into play. Same with the roof. Just because it's old doesn't mean that insurance is going to do that, where it's, insurance, you've been paying insurance, so they should replace that. No, it's if you have storm damage, significant wind or hail damage. And hail has to be big enough to actually cause some damage, not the little pea-sized stuff like that. Right. If you see some holes in your siding and dents on your siding, more than likely it's done some damage to your roof. But outside of that, when you see this little sleet, it's not done any damage.
Yeah. Do you see newer roofs that are doing better with dealing with hail?
Oh, absolutely. The dimensional shingles do a lot better with hail than the 3-tab style, the flat brick looking.
Yeah.
That's kind of becoming a thing of the past. Yeah. If you see contractors installing that, probably look for another contractor. But the dimensional style shingles are definitely the best way to go now. There's even hail impact shingles. We even offer a line. We're actually one of 2 contractors in Indiana that sells this hail impact shingle that you can get an insurance discount with most insurance companies and prevents 2-inch hail hits. So
yeah, absolutely. And most insurance companies offer discounts on that kind of thing. Yep. So as far as quality of product, I don't think we've talked about that very much either, but that's a super important part of putting a new roof on your house, whether it's a hail claim or some kind of a damage claim, or whether you're just putting a new roof on your house. The quality of the product matters, I would assume, right?
Absolutely. I mean, this is, once again, it's one of your biggest investments. You're not just going to get the cheapest thing and try to throw it up there, nor do you want to just look at it for the price. Because I tell you what, I've dealt with every shingle manufacturer, and I see the product daily, and there's a big difference in material. Yeah. There's a big difference. And even it goes above and beyond of what just the shingles are, because there's the felt, there's the drip edge, there's the nails, there's the starter, there's the ice and water shield, there's the ridge vent. There's so many other components when it goes to a roof that when people just see the shingles. And it's a whole system.
So how does somebody know? Like, how does someone like me, if I need a new roof and I want to have quality stuff on there, but I don't know what's the right shingle, or you just named 6 other things.
That's the unfortunate thing that I wish more contractors would do, and that's one thing that I pride RCV on, is we like to be informative. Okay. We don't want to be that salesman. We have no salesman. We want to give you all the information. That's how we buy these days. Right. Yeah. We look at the reviews. We look at the specs. We see what other people do and go with that. And that's what I suggest with what homeowners do with their roofs as well, as far as even insurance agents, to do these kind of things, but be smarter consumers. And as far as the products, just do a little bit of research. I mean, if there's a contractor that's just giving you one option,
so a contractor should really come up to you and as you guys are talking, say, hey, here's multiple quality options. Here's how the pricing is going to change and things of that nature. And you make those decisions.
Typically, you want a good, better, best option.
Cool.
Because if you have a rental, you might not care to put on the best thing because it's actually a source of income for you. That's fine. But if it's your home that you actually live in, you're going to probably treat it a little bit differently. But just do that homework. And some contractors don't have the option to really do a good, better, best as far as like warranties, because you have to have that tier or that title like us as platinum contractors to be able to sell certain tiers of warranties. And in order to sell those warranties, here's a big thing. In order to sell those warranties, or when contractors say, oh, yeah, you get this long of a warranty, it's very, very tricky, because the manufacturers of the shingles, they need X amount of accessories of that brand to coincide with a warranty and a complete system.
So a warranty usually means the complete system was put in on that roof.
Correct.
Obviously, the manufacturer wants to know it was done right if they're going to be willing to pay 10 years down the road. Correct. If it doesn't work out.
Correct. And it's not like a vacuum warranty. This is something a little bit more serious.
Yeah,
and a lot of
absolutely.
times they're transferable too, which becomes a selling tool if you ever decide to move or anything like that. So,
Okay, cool. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about a few mistakes that homeowners make when it comes to roof, and then we'll wrap it up and we'll be done.
Sure.
All right, so Jay, tell us, what are some mistakes that homeowners or property owners of any kind, anybody who has a roof really, what are some mistakes that those folks make when it comes to roofs?
Always going with the price, the lowest price.
Yeah.
That's probably the number one mistake. Price has to, the cost has to come from somewhere. Now, price gouging people is just wrong, and that's something we don't do. We're fair. This is a good price. We're going to be competitive for the market as well. But if it goes, oh, I got an estimate that's $1,500 less than yours, that's got to come from somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially the bigger companies too. Like, we get better purchasing power. So obviously these smaller, guys don't have maybe the flexibility when it comes to the material. So if they can't get the material break like we might be able to get, obviously it's probably coming from workmanship.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And
or the system.
or the complete
whatever.
system. They're
Yeah.
using off-brand accessories, things like that, whereas not going to be good if you have issues down the road.
Okay. So choosing just based on price, big mistake that
Absolutely.
homeowners make. What's another one?
Not doing their homework on that company. A lot of contractors require a deposit. Be careful, extremely careful of that of deposit on any contractors for any work.
So they'll ask for money up front before having done any
Before
work.
done anything.
And that is not a common behavior of reputable roofers.
Yep. And some are. It depends on the size of the company.
Mhm.
We don't require any deposit at all. We get paid for when we're done with the job. Some companies have to do a deposit, maybe to
If you're
buy the
smaller,
material,
you gotta
things
buy
like that.
Yep.
That's fine, but you need to make sure that they're very completely reputable with that. May do a lot of extra digging
Mhm.
into this company, or call the material supply company prior to. Another thing that I see is a lot of contractors push homeowners to file a claim for storm damage and have them sign a piece of paper saying that they're pretty much locking them into doing the roof for the adjuster meeting.
Mhm.
That's wrong. That's a bunch of bogus. Don't sign anything.
So you shouldn't have to sign anything ahead of. I mean, you do have to sign an agreement at some point that you're going
to do the roof.
That you're going to do the roof,
Mhm.
but that shouldn't happen before even the adjuster has seen the situation.
Absolutely not.
Like, when in the process does the roofer generally properly ask for a signature, an agreement on that job?
When we know the shingle color, the homeowner is already going to selecting us for their services. I mean,
Okay.
We've had all those meetings. We're ready to do the roof.
Okay. So if you're asked to sign something before that point, that's a red flag.
That is a big red flag.
Okay. And if someone asks for a down payment, money before they do the work, the only really legitimate way we can think of why someone would need that is if they're a real small
Sure.
guy. They don't have enough money to get the materials and pay for all the materials
Sure.
ahead of time. But if someone asks for a down payment, then you want to be real careful and you want to do your research on that roofer.
Yeah, you want to do that because I've seen, and being in this industry, I've seen a lot of roofers where they're looking for the next job to pay the last job, to pay for the last job. So your deposit is not really paying for your materials; it's paying off the last job's materials.
Right.
So you really need to see maybe how good of standing they are, where they're buying their materials from. Another thing is where they're buying materials from is a big key indicator is these box stores. You don't want to buy shingles from these box stores unless it's for maybe a smaller project, not for a whole house. Because batches, when they make these shingles, they come in batches. And if it's a different batch, or let's say this box store only has half a roof of shingles. Well, in order to complete your order for the full roof of shingles, they have to get from another box store. Say, hey, I need the rest of those to complete this. Now, those two batches were more than likely made different times.
Right.
And yeah, they might be the same color, but different batches, it's just like paint.
It can stick out.
It can stick out and it'll look like a sore thumb. And actually, manufacturers shy away from actually warranting it from different batches.
Yeah. All right. Wow. So much good information.
Yeah.
So last question for you. you guys have grown like crazy in the last 5 years. I mean, I remember seeing 1 or 2 trucks. Now I feel like I see your trucks around all the time, and I really love it. I think it's awesome. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Great question. I just have, got my company to where it's operable that I could be sick for a day or gone for a week.
It's such a good
and still
feeling.
it's fantastic. It's a wonderful feeling. So we're gonna start, doing a lot more information. We're actually gonna do some, some videos, things like that, recreating some information that we can give to the consumers, more trade shows. So I'm just wanting to expand in our area. I don't have any need or desire at this time to expand outside of my current region. I just like to master what I'm good at. Like I said before, it's not just about the money to me. I want to create a good name, good staple in this town, and this is a great town to do that in. And I think we've made the progress and are, pretty much a good brand in town for as far as a roofing company.
Absolutely.
So I'm wanting to just actually hone in on that, streamline it even more, and just ride and make it as efficient as possible.
Cool. Jay, if someone wants to find you for a roof or information on roofing or seamless gutters or whatever, where can they do so?
Well, you can Google RCV Roofing. That's Romeo Charlie Victor Roofing, rcvroofing.com, or our phone number 812-650-4301.
Cool. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us.
Thanks.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching.